Hey guys, welcome back to Seinfeld Saturday, where I break down individual Seinfeld episodes, and I guess you could say I kind of review them. Today I'll be getting back on track in the correct order with Season 2, Episode 3, titled The Jacket. And the episode originally aired on February 6th, 1991. It was directed by Tom Sharones, and was written by Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David. So a lot of this episode was actually based on some of Larry David's real-life experiences, as he was known to do. When he was younger, he actually dated a woman named Monica Yates, daughter of successful author Richard Yates. So in this episode, George and Jerry agree to go with Elaine to have dinner with her father, Alton Bennis, played by Lawrence Tierney. And it starts with Jerry and Elaine shopping together at a clothing store. And you kind of learn of Elaine's father's reputation early on in this episode. So Elaine is carrying one of his books at the clothing store, and a random woman stops her to say that she's read that book and she's a huge fan. Jerry has never met Alton Bennis, but he tells Elaine that he's pretty much already nervous to meet him. And then he stumbles upon the jacket, a brown suede coat that he says is the most perfect jacket he has ever seen. It does have like a pink striped lining on the inside that he isn't crazy about, but and it's also super expensive, but he decides to buy it anyways. Later that night, you see him wearing it over his pajamas while he's watching TV at home, and of course, in walks Kramer. And Kramer mentions the jacket instantly because you know how Kramer is with fashion, and he knows a nice jacket when he sees one, of course. He asks how much Jerry paid for it, and Jerry replies, "I paid for it what it costs," and I always have loved that line. Kramer sees the receipt, though, and you never actually learn, the exact cost of the jacket, but you know it's a lot. He then asks Jerry what he plans to do with his old leather jacket, because again, Kramer, and Jerry lets him have it. The next day, George arrives at Jerry's apartment, and so they can go meet Elaine and her dad. Jerry goes into his room, and he comes back out with the new jacket on. George is equally impressed and asks about this new jacket. And Jerry tells him about how confident he feels in it, and George tells him that he does want to know how much it costs, but he isn't going to ask. Then he waits about 5 seconds and asks if it was $400, and Jerry remains quiet about this, and now George is getting upset. Was it $500? Over $6? It can't be $7. Don't tell me you paid $700. He's pretty fired up at this point and said he's walking out assuming it was over $1,000 unless Jerry says something, which he doesn't. And as they are about to leave Jerry's apartment, Kramer walks in and asks if anyone can help him transport his magician friend's pigeons, doves. Sorry, they were doves that he'll be taking care of. Come on, do me a solid. They had to decline since they already had plans, and out into New York they go to meet Elaine and Alton Bennis. So a cool fact for you here is that Lawrence Tierney was not at all a comedic actor. He was known for his tough guy roles in the 1940s and 50s, and that made him the perfect guy for this role, and his performance is just great. He turns out to be every bit as intimidating as Jerry had feared, and 1,000 times more. George and Jerry meet Alton in a hotel lobby where he tells them that Elaine is running late. You later learn that she was late because she got tied up helping Kramer with the doves. So Alton offers the two a drink while they wait. He orders another scotch, and Jerry orders a cranberry juice, and George orders a club soda. Alton is already not impressed with these two guys. And this was the only ever appearance of Alton Bennis on the show, and I think that it could have been cool if he became a regular character, but he just never did, which is, in my opinion, kind of a bummer. And apparently Lawrence Tierney's tough guy demeanor was no act. He was really like that in real life. At first it was off-putting to him having people laugh on set, and it had to be explained to him that this was normal on the set of a comedy. And I guess after a while he did kind of loosen up a bit. And the tension between Alton's, hard-ass personality and George and Jerry's goofiness makes for a pretty funny dichotomy. I mean, this guy even makes George's parents seem soft. It's awesome. So George and Jerry nervously rendezvous in the bathroom, and George says that they should just escape and not go back out. And they come out, and Alton goes to use the bathroom, and finally Elaine shows up. She tells them about, her getting caught up with Kramer, which usually never ends well. Turns out that he owed tons of money in parking tickets, which would be kind of a reoccurring theme with Kramer. Oh, and also another cool fact, Julia Louis-Dreyfus wanted Mary Tyler Moore to play her mom in the show, but that never happened. Yeah, and you actually never see Elaine's mom at all. So Alton asks Elaine if she's working, and she says that she works for Pendant Publishing. And this is the first mention of that job, which would continue to be part of the show until the end of season 5. So they are all now ready to head out to the restaurant that Alton has picked out for them. It's snowing outside by now, and Jerry asks if they were, going to be getting a cab. Alton says no, it's only 5 blocks, but Jerry's worried about ruining his new jacket. You can't wear suede in the rain or snow, it does ruin it. So George suggests that he just, turn the jacket inside out, and the snow won't touch the suede. But once Alton sees the pink lining, he demands that Jerry flip it back or he is not going to walk with them. Jerry reluctantly agrees, and his new jacket is ruined that night. The next day, Kramer comes to Jerry's apartment, and Jerry's wearing an old jacket of his. He asks what happened to the new one, and Jerry shows him. And yeah, it's completely ruined. Kramer asks if he can have it, and then points out how it's too bad that he already gave him his old leather jacket too. God, that Kramer. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Most fans and even critics liked this episode quite a bit when it first aired. The show's biggest competition at the time was a show called Jake and the Fat Man, which I actually do remember liking a little bit as a kid. And my thoughts on the episode, overall, I like it okay. It's not a favorite by any means, but it's a solid Seinfeld episode. My favorite parts are both times that Kramer gets a new jacket from Jerry. In my opinion, the show had still not quite hit its stride. It was getting there, but it just not quite yet. Overall, good but fairly average episode in my opinion, and I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10, which is a bit low for me on the Seinfeld scale. Anyways, let me know what you think about the episode. Is it one of your favorites, least favorites? What would you, if you were to give it a score, what would you rank it? Cheers, guys.